Hi, this is Swapnil Bhartiya and we are here at SUSE conference in Czech Republic in Prague, and we have with us Laura. Just tell us a bit about yourself, what are you doing at this conference and what do you do in your life also?
My name is Laura Paduano. I'm from Fulda, based in Germany. I work for SUSE for 1.5 years now, and we started with OpenAttic as project, and SUSE had got attention of our project, and then we started a partnership, and then after a year of partnership, SUSE asked us if we want to go to SUSE with our project, and then we continued to develop OpenAttic, which is a user interface for Ceph management, and then we joined SUSE, and that's the story so far.
So you came to SUSE through OpenAttic acquisition that they made.
Right.
But I think OpenAttic was not open source, right?
It was. We had different phases where we first thought we make OpenAttic an enterprise product in the former company, but then we also started to think about making it open source and an enterprise edition with additional modules, and customers could buy support for the product. That was the initial idea.
And how long had you been working with OpenAttic?
I think I started 2010, my training in the former company, and then we had a program where trainees would change the department for 3 months, and then I also got into the OpenAttic department, and there it was just like in the baby shoes, so I joined the project really early.
And so, okay, let's not talk about technology for a while. Let's talk about your journey. So, when did you? Are you an open source user from very early on, or you're just more focused on software development? Who are you?
Yes, I'm focused on software development, but my real focus is the quality assurance of the software. So testing, mainly the front end. So because we offer a user interface for people to manage storage, and so my focus was I did a lot of stuff within OpenAttic. So I back-end, front-end coding, and then I started to really like testing, and then I really focused on front-end testing, and that's something I really like.
And what was the reason why you were attracted towards OpenAttic? Why did you join them? Just as a job, or you were?
Yes, because I had to, because of my training at the company, I had to go through several departments. But when I went to OpenAttic and started to participate the project, I really liked that. I liked the idea of OpenAttic, and I was really interested in all that stuff. So I asked my former boss if I could just stay in that department instead of moving around. So he allowed me to stay, and then it was, I think, also for my personal goals to accomplish my trainee, that I can improve myself and grow with that project.
Okay, and then you came to SUSE through that. So how has been your experience at SUSE?
In the beginning, it was really cool to go to SUSE, but it was also a bit overwhelming because the former company was a little bit 75 people roundabout, and SUSE is a much bigger company. It is more international. You have people spread across the globe. So, and we started to speak English, and we got other colleagues from Portugal, for example. And so a lot of email traffic and meetings, and really the onboarding was really an exciting time. And but I really like it at SUSE.
So ever since, I mean, you joined SUSE and you said it's an international company, there are a lot of people from different group. And these days when we look at technology, diversity or inclusion has become a very, hot topic. People are talking about that. So is diversity a topic that interests you as well?
Yes, it is.
So what do you think about, what does diversity mean for you?
I think joining, for example, SUSE, when we went to Nuremberg, for example, I really met a lot of women there, and but compared to when I was in school, I was the only girl in that class, and yeah, I think it's often you get asked, you are a woman, why do you work in IT, or sometimes I even had the feeling that people wouldn't think that I work in IT just because they have maybe they judge you just because they see you and they say, hey, you are in IT, really? And then yeah, I think it's a difficult topic, and yeah, I think it would be really nice or yeah, if that topic would maybe calm down a bit more, and it would just be normal that women, for example, get into IT just as men do. So.
But why do you think people, kind of think, why is a woman should be? What is the reason why people think like that?
That women do not really belong there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure. I think it's like with other jobs that mostly men do. It's like it was the way it is for a long time, and then all of a sudden other people, women, girls want to do a man's job too, and so I think maybe it's difficult to accept that also women can do that, or yeah, get involved into IT or different jobs that men usually do. So yeah, I think it's just, or I'm not really sure what else there could be.
Right. I was talking to Karen Sandler. She said, that if you look at any computer games, you always see boys' face, So it's also, in people's head, that, oh, computers means for boys, girls means dolls. So a lot of media and all of those companies, I mean, if you look at any video games, on the ad, you always say a boy with a gun or a remote, not a girl. So it has also changed the whole mentality that, oh, it's for girls. And that is changing these days, It's like, I mean, I interview a lot of, I reach out, try to find more and more women there. So when you come to this conference, when you walk into a room and when you say 5 men and you are the only women, how does it feel?
I'm kind of used to it. Yes,
because but don't you think that if there are more women in the room, you will feel more comfortable, or it doesn't really matter?
To me, it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm. So because when you walk into the room, you're just a technologist and you're hanging out with other technologists, and so it doesn't really matter whether they're male or female or from wherever they are. It doesn't really matter. So is it because when you walk into the room, the environment of the room is more focused on technology, so that there is a common thread, or is it something else?
I think it's because if you are like in a conference and you want to attend a workshop or a presentation, it's just the topic matters.
Everybody has that same common,
Right.
But at the same time, has there any case where you did not feel welcome and you were like, can you give an example?
Yeah, I had that a few times. Sometimes it's just at a conference where I have another colleague with me, and then he gets approached by other people and they mainly talk to him. So I'm just part of the group, but I'm not really talked to, so I'm more ignored. And I also had that at conferences where we had a booth and then we represented our project, and then people would always go more to my male colleagues and ask them questions about the project, and then yeah, I was not really sure if that is because they maybe think I'm not really familiar with the project, or maybe they were kind of scared to approach me, because sometimes I have the feeling that you get a little bit different treatment as a woman. So you are there, but they don't really look at you, or they kind of ignore you, and maybe that's also related because they think you don't know really anything about the topic.
And what can be done to change that?
Maybe first of all, I think it should be accepted that women join also technical jobs or any other jobs that men do, so that it's equal, and include women more, and just not really ignore them or really don't talk to them, but include them, talk to them, include them in a conversation, and ask questions. I mean, they would know if I'm not familiar with that topic. If they would ask me something and I couldn't even answer one single question about the project. So if they would ask me, then they would see that I am familiar with the project. And so I think, yeah, just include women more, and I think that would help. And don't be afraid, or don't judge in the first place. If you just see a woman working on something technical or being at a technical conference, just don't judge in the first place.
That's okay, is for the other people, but what role can your colleagues who are standing with you play? Because they are the ones who make the workforce, you know, who are standing next to you, or they're called male, or you know, allies or something like that.
Maybe they could just, if they recognize that, for example, in that case, I am ignored, that they could maybe just introduce me to the group, and so people would have to shake your hand, say hi, and then, or maybe involve you more into a topic. So if there's something they could involve me in, and say, hey Laura, you know this and that, and can you tell a little bit more about that? And so just involvement, I think, would be.
Do you think they do it or they don't do it?
Half, I would say. Because sometimes I think they maybe don't really realize that at some point. But if they do, they would include me. So
the awareness has to come from, it's not just people should be aware, it's also your colleagues should also be aware that people give that kind of treatment to women. So whenever there is a situation, they should always try, hey, yeah, talk to her, you know, she's, oh, you want to know about Ceph? Talk to her, she's the one who leads this team or who has been doing this work. So that will also help. And what role can women themselves play in encouraging more women or other you know, underrepresented minorities to come forward and be more visible?
I think if you're really interested in technical stuff or some jobs where people or women are rare, don't be scared to do what you want and to believe in yourself, and don't let other people put you down. You have to believe in yourself and do what you want to do, and include yourself into the group. And I think it doesn't really have to be, but if you can prove yourself that you really can, for example, code, or if you, I don't know, if you can administer systems, and then people or your colleagues will recognize that you really have skills.
Why should women have to prove when men don't have to prove, right?
Right.
In ideal world, it should not be the case,
right,
but you have to do extra work.
Yeah, right.
So you were working on OpenAttic.
OpenAttic, right.
So what was the problem OpenAttic was trying to solve?
OpenAttic tried to offer user interface for different storage protocols, because if you want to use different storage technologies on Linux, you mostly have to use the console to do so, and you have to use different tools. And the idea of OpenAttic was to unify all that into one user interface to be able to manage that.
And ever since it was acquired by SUSE, has the project, the structure of the project changed to integrate, or has it remained the same?
We had a lot of changes, and one was, I think, a short time before we moved to SUSE, where we decided to, because we had local storage management in OpenAttic, and then we also started to focus on Ceph, and because of the resources, the developers, the number of developers, and the time, we decided to drop the local storage part and only focus on Ceph. And since we joined SUSE, we still have the Ceph focus, and we continue to develop OpenAttic and delivered it with SES. And lately there has been another change. So because of the Ceph dashboard that is included in Ceph, there was some discussions about that, and the future of the dashboard and what should happen with that dashboard, and if anything should change about the dashboard. And so we thought our focus in OpenAttic is on Ceph. We have a UI, and so we started to think about, wouldn't it be a good idea to take that part, what is in OpenAttic, and contribute it to Ceph as a new dashboard to Ceph Upstream. And so we started doing that in January this year. And we made a proof of concept first, and we talked to Sage and to John about how we should do it.
Who are they?
From Ceph.
Okay.
Core developers, upstream developers. And so we talked about it and made a proof of concept for that. And the current plan is to, because there is now a first version of Ceph Manager dashboard, which is from us in upstream, and
so it has already been accepted there.
Right, it has been accepted, and the current plan is to get to feature parity from OpenAttic to the Ceph dashboard manager. So we have all the features that are in OpenAttic also in the Ceph upstream dashboard. Right?
So when you look at SES and when you look at storage, nowadays we are creating so much data. I mean, we have mobile phones, and and then enterprise world they are generating. So what is the big challenge that the storage community is facing, that, oh, this is a big challenge?
I think in general, to have, when you have data, for example, stored that is important, you want to have a backup of that. You want to, fit to customers' needs. So there's always a new tool or a new, something like Ceph that is being invented, and you have to, I think as a company, you also have to decide which technology you want to use, what should be included, what should be supported, what are the customers' needs, and I think that's a big challenge in general. And also scalability. I think the data grows and you need more and more space to store data, and then you need to have a solution where you could just, for example, get a new server, plug it in, and then it gets automatically recognized as new cluster member, for example, and so you really don't have to deal with that at all. So maybe the software can.
You said the data is growing, and if we keep looking at it, I mean, I don't even want to talk about CERN, the amount of data they are generating, or a square kilometer array, they're like petabytes or whatever. Even consumers, we have security cameras and it's recording all the time, it's uploaded in the cloud. There will be a point, that you just cannot keep creating data, it will be massively that you may have to move the servers to Mars or Jupiter, nobody knows. So does that also appear a challenge that, that we can only so much data, so either we filter the data and just purge it which we don't need, only save that is critical, number one, and number two is that we may also need better data compression. So can you talk about that a bit?
I think there are already technologies that focus on that, so you don't have to use, for example, that much space. that is also very small and little, so it's not really using that much space. You don't have to put servers and servers and servers into the data center. And I think what is also very efficient is that if you, for example, with Kubernetes and Docker images, for example, if you really don't, if you just, for example, if you need something, a developer needs a development system, and then you can just deploy it, and it gets just in that moment where you need it, it will be deployed, and if you don't need it anymore, it will be destroyed again. So I think that's also a good technology. If you just, for the moment, if you need it, you will have it, and if you don't, you can just throw it away, and then 2 hours later you still need it, and then you can get one in 1 second, and then you can work again. So I think that's also very efficient. So it's more focused on virtual environments, not the hardware. But you still need hardware, but yeah, the focus is on virtual environments.
So we talked about SUSE, we talked about OpenSUSE, we talked about Ceph, we talked about all those technologies. Let's talk about you for a while. When you're not working on these technologies, when you're not giving these keynotes and not doing these interviews, what do you do in your free time?
I read a lot of books.
Okay.
I like to play video games.
Oh, what kind of, okay. That's what do you play?
Counter-Strike and mostly PUBG, because I think that's really a famous one, and all my friends play it, and so we started to play all together. That is pretty fun.
Which platform do you use?
For what exactly?
For game.
Okay, then I have at home I have dual boot, so I have a Windows installed to play PUBG, for example, and then I also have my Kubuntu at home.
Okay.
So.
Well, I have Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo. I'm also, but I do mostly, I like open world games like Legend of Zelda or Horizon. Right now I was playing, before I came here, Assassin's Creed Origins. So I also bought my remote because PlayStation allows remote play, so I can play from here also and stream. Cool. But the thing is that I'm also into 3D printing. So I have printed the big giant swords from Legend of Zelda and all those things. So yeah, gaming is, but when do you get time to play games?
In the evening when I get home, or on the weekend. And yeah, it's always, you have to kind of, yeah, I don't know how to say it, to balance the time. Yeah, you have to, if you don't have anything else to do, you can maybe play for a few hours, and then if you have something else to do, then you have to take care of that, and then skip playing video games for a few times.
That's hard, but it can be done. Yeah. So books, video game, what else?
I take care of a horse.
What?
Yes, I do.
Okay, tell us about that.
Yeah, the owner, she was searching for someone who can take care of her horse when she doesn't have the time to do so. And then we met each other, and she introduced her horse to me. And then we talked a bit, and then she decided that I could be a good person to do that, because she wanted to have someone who's nice to the horse and who takes really care and cares about the animal itself. And so I started to take care of the horse, and I take care of it. I go for a walk with it, and if the weather is nice, I'm outside with the horse and riding a tour, and that's. So you
ride the horse?
Right.
So do you have a big sword also, and then you just
No, I don't have that.
Okay. So are you based? Where are you based?
I'm in Fulda in Germany.
So is it a big city or a town?
It's a small town. Small town.
Oh, so you have a lot of okay. So books, video games, horse. What else?
I think that's about it.
That's about.
I also like to go out with friends, go into the city, have a nice barbecue, and some trips with friends. Go outside, and take care of my 2 cats.
Oh, you have 2 cats also. Okay.
Yes, also. Okay. Yeah.
And you have a lot of tattoos. What is the story behind them? This one looks very realistic.
Yeah, that one is for the inner fighter or knight that everyone should have or has.
So are you a wolf or?
No, it's just I really like wolves, and they are also like dangerous animals. So it's also kind of a protector for the woman.
So do you have any wolves also at home?
No, I don't.
Okay, because you'll say, oh, and we have 3 wolves also.
No, we don't.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that was just a picture for me to that you should, or you have a inner fighter, protector, knight inside of you, and so you have situations in your life that are hard, and you have to get over it and stand up again and fight for something, and that is the tattoo.
And that arm is still blank, so you're putting something on that one, planning to?
Yes.
What is that plan?
I'm still not really sure what to do, because I have a few ideas, and I think that's not enough space, so I'm not really sure how to coordinate all that.
You should put on a bag then.
Yeah, but I think on the back is...
you can't see it, right?
Yeah, that's something tattoo artist said to me. Why should I have a tattoo on the back if I can't even see it?
Yeah.
And then I have nothing from it, so he is kind of right, I think. But I have to see how I will organize my next tattoos, so I have to see what to do.
Just don't get on your face and neck.
Yeah, right. That's out of discussion.
Right. So we are here at the Open SUSE conference. What has been your experience so far here?
It's pretty nice. This is my first Open SUSE conference here, and I had a talk together with a colleague of mine that was very exciting for me, because I don't give that much presentations at a conference, but I got good feedback for the presentation, and I think there were a lot of interesting topics here, and I think in general meeting the people here is really nice to see people here and to get to know them, because if you are in another office located, you don't really see the people that much. And you get to chat with them on IRC or write a mail, but you don't have a face to that person. And so it's really nice to be here and to meet everyone and to have a nice chat. Yeah.
And that also means that we'll be seeing more solo keynotes from you in future.
Maybe.
Okay. Thank you, Laura, so much for your time today.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.